Do you feel like college campuses are able to address or have the resources to fully address issues of mental health and be able to discuss mental health issues with students in a really powerful, effective way? If not, how can we make colleges and universities better in that regard?
It's timely. The University of Montana, and again, it's a reflection of the leadership being sensitive to these issues, and then also backing it with programmatic changes. And we've hired people in our what's called our wellness center, and we just call it overall wellness. And the state of Montana even held a conference to address wellness, and our veteran organizations across those campuses sat in on that and contributed largely to that conversation because of the experiences dealing with mental health and how to build resiliency and face those challenges. And the wellness center at the University of Montana is really, it's aggressive. We have Wellness Wednesdays, and if you look at our calendar on Wellness Wednesdays, there's stuff all across campus for students to engage in and open that conversation up. And then outside of just the Wednesdays, the Wellness Center has built, similar to like the Student Ambassador Program, they have wellness ambassadors that are embedded in colleges that have contact information and hours that they're available to just have those conversations and build a culture of accepting that, to quote Jose, like I'm having a bad day. Like that is something we need to be okay with saying and cultivating, and then helping carry each other through it, instead of just going about it alone. And I think veterans have a great opportunity leading that. And I've partnered with our wellness center to look at ways of, how do I not only just make things for the student veterans, make events or opportunities, but how do I integrate my student veterans into the overall conversation? I think that's even more empowering. I don't want to isolate, I want to integrate.
Exactly. Right. And then because you don't want to create a silo for an experience where you hope to like fully integrate them into the student life experience for sure. Jose, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, no, excellent insight, Pat. I'm gonna be stealing some of those ideas. I forgot my pen and paper, but it's all in here. So I'll be talking with our university more with it. But getting to your question, well, we have our wellness centers here. People get sick. They take days off because they have a really high temperature. But what if somebody is not feeling 100% there mentally? You know what I mean? It's somewhat a different of a stigma. Mental health days, they're up and coming, if you will, and I feel that having the ability to kind of sit back and be like, hey, I'm not okay right now, and maybe I should take some time to kind of get back on path, or to try to find some balance, if you will. I think it's very important. So I know, again, initially getting out, it was kind of one of those things that you kind of like shy away from. Like, I don't necessarily want help because, back in the mentality of the military, it's just like, you don't want to be that guy, more or less. And, if you do go to mental health and stuff like that, I don't want them to take my gun. I don't want them, more or less, putting you on a list and then everybody like doesn't like you. And that kind of bleeds into your civilian life, if you will. You have this negative, way of thinking about asking for help and, being open with yourself. You got the military personality always in the back of your head, but like, no, you got it, man. Just keep pushing through. Again, I have to be resilient. I have to be strong. I have to do this. And it's, sometimes a pride thing as well. I'm a veteran. I did this. I done that. I was here. I was there. And for me to come tell somebody like, hey, I'm not feeling good, that's just like that form of mentality. That's just like, it gets embedded with you and it stays for such a long time. And I think having the opportunity to kind of get down and have that conversation. Nobody wants to have that conversation, but it's the conversation that's needed. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to express yourself. It's okay to have the opportunity to let somebody know that things aren't okay. Mm-hmm. And I think with that, having those small little conversations, and they go on to be, policy changes. They go on to be more or less something that's brought to the forefront of topics of, university ways of practices and whatnot. So I think that having the opportunity for schools as well as jobs to have that the ability to let people know that it's okay to seek mental health, because at the end of the day, if you're not body, mind, and soul, you're not going to be 100% of you. And I think having the opportunity, such as a wellness center, or such as somebody that is put aside to kind of be that liaison, like, hey, bud, like, you haven't had your 3 cups of coffee this morning. Everything okay? Like being able to do that. And I know as a veteran student, sometimes it is uncomfortable going outside and talking to somebody that you're not really familiar with. So having that bond with another veteran student is like that jumping off point, if you will, and again, here at the university itself, we strive to ensure that our veteran population is taken care of. And that's not only the veterans themselves, it's the veterans' families, because, I mean, if you're not doing good with your family as well, then you're probably not going to be, there 100%. So putting into perspective not only the singular veteran, but also his, direct family as well, is important to ensure that, they're able to function how they need to function and everything.
I feel like often people will try to like 3 cups of coffee their way to mental health, or
I'm on one today, so.
right, you're on one. Well, okay. Well, I mean, I'm on like 1.5. And look, honestly, like that 1.5 is not enough for me to be like, okay, now I can have a good day, right? Like that's just it's not feasible, right? And I think, granted, I think the impact of the pandemic cannot be overstated. If anything, to just have a pure and honest conversation and be able to say, like, I'm not having a good day, and that's okay. It will be okay. And if I'm not okay, like, who's there to help me? What are the resources that are there to help? I'd love to hear from you both again about any resources that, for student veterans who will watch this interview, and or any colleges or universities who may look to this interview for, what are some things that they can implement in terms of programs and services and support that, both you, Pat, and Jose have mentioned today. Any other resources that you think would be helpful for the student veteran that is attending college? What should they know?
Jose, I'll piggyback off you on this one. I'm really curious to hear what kind of stuff you've implemented or are a part of, as a student veteran leader right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, going forward, for any veterans that's out there, listening to this interview, it's important to know that you're not alone. Moreover, you have people that are going to be out there for you. We're rooting for you. If you have a goal, pursue it. In the great words of Ford, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So again, you can only go as far as you allow yourself to go. And with that being said, you may not always have a good day, but it doesn't make it a bad life. And if you ever feel that you're alone, or you have nobody to talk to, there's always the Veterans Crisis Line. I'm not sure if this is a prominent thing with you guys out over there, if you guys are able to give that, Pat, to your students and everything. The number for the Veterans Lights is 1-800-273-8255. And again, I wouldn't be here if not for them. So don't let your pride get in the way. If you need help, give them a call.
Yeah, thank you, Jose. Absolutely. That's the crisis line is something that we implement and we use widely. And, to build off what you're talking about, if I'm addressing every student veteran in this nation and they're on the cusp of determining if they want to use their GI Bill and go to college, the first thing I tell them is look for a place of connection. And if you're not able to connect when you're looking for a college with somebody like Jose, or, feel a good vibe that you're going to transition into a place where you're comfortable addressing, your mental health, or you see that support as something easily available, keep searching. search for a place that you can be guaranteed connection. Once you land on campus and if you haven't felt that, it might be too late, and you deserve better. And that's where I found myself when I was looking for a college. I told myself, I don't care about how fancy it is or any of that other business. I want a place that I can genuinely cultivate relationships and feel not just appreciated, but trusted, and build confidence in where I was coming from. Because, like Jose, I was lost. I didn't quite know after the military experiences I had how I was going to define myself. And, the interactions you have, whether it's with a business or a college, you should quickly get that vibe that these people understand, and they're going to take me to where I want to be, and they're going to accept the fact that some days I'm a little bit off, but they're going to know that overall I'm going to crush it. And that's how I look at our student veterans, is look for programs that trust you, lift you up, and give you a platform to really just perform at your maximum potential.
That's awesome. Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing those resources, Pat and Jose.